Dr. Richard Weissbourd is currently a senior lecturer in education at the Harvard Graduate School of Education and at the Kennedy School of Government. He's also faculty director of the Human Development and Psychology Master's Program. His work focuses on vulnerability and resilience in childhood, the achievement gap, moral development, and effective schools and services for children. He directs the Making Caring Common project, a national effort to make moral and social development priorities in child raising and to provide strategies to schools and parents for promoting children caring, a commitment to justice and other key moral and social capacities. He's currently conducting research on how older adults can better mentor young adults and teenagers in developing ethical, mature, romantic relationships. For several years, he worked as a psychologist in community mental health centers. He's a founder of several interventions for at-risk children. He has advised on the city, state, and federal levels on family policy and school reform, and has written for numerous scholarly and popular publications, and is the author of 2 books, The Vulnerable Child and The Parents We Mean to Be. Rick, are we preparing children in America to be caring, ethical citizens, workers, and family members?
Well, thank you, and thank you, Manuel, for bringing us all together. It is wonderful to be here. Good morning, everyone. It's wonderful to be part of this group, and I appreciate the question. So here's how I would answer it. I think that, in some respects we are, but here's what my big concern is. We've been doing research over the last 8 years where we ask versions of this question. I'm going to simplify the data, but one question that we've asked about 50,000 middle school and high school students at this point is, what's most important to you? Achieving at a high level, being a happy person, or being a caring person? And we also spend a lot of time, what do you mean by caring? What do you mean by achievement? What do you mean by happiness? How do you see the relationship between caring and achievement and happiness? We also ask them, how do you imagine your parents would rank these things for you? So is it more important to your parents that you're caring, high achieving, or that you're happy? And how do you imagine your teachers would rank these things for you? Again, in a nutshell, and to simplify a lot of data, when we do this, about 50% of students rank achievement first. They rank happiness, about 30% rank happiness first, and about 20% rank caring first. So about 80% of kids are ranking some aspect of their success, either achievement or happiness, as more important than their caring for other people. And I want you just to pause and consider how unprecedented that is, because I don't think that would, I'm going to explain to you why I think it's the case, but I don't think that would have been true at other times in our history. And I think it is one root of why we are living in such a fractured and polarized and nasty and uncivil political and civic time in this country in many respects. And again, one root in one piece of a complex puzzle. When we ask parents what's most important to you in child raising, they say that our kids are caring, and they rank achievement third. When we ask kids, as I said, how do you imagine your parents would rank these things for you? What do you think kids say? Achievement. So about 60% of kids think that they would rank their achievement first, and about 15% think that their parents would rank caring first. So kids are even more likely to think that their parents would rank achievement over caring. When we ask kids, is it more important to your parents that you get good grades in school or that you're a caring and contributing class member in school? Kids are about 3 times more likely to think that it's more important to their parents that they get good grades than that they're caring, contributing class members. And I'm raising this for you because I think it's a reflection of the degree to which we have elevated achievement and happiness as the primary goals of child raising and demoted caring and concern for the common good. And that's a concerning development. And we spend a lot of time in schools and in homes trying to teach capacities like empathy, perspective taking, social awareness. But it's hard to do when we have demoted caring to the degree that we have, when we're out of balance. And I'm speaking in big terms. I appreciate what a couple of you have said. There are wonderful millennials out there with tremendous moral imaginations, very capable of moral idealism at high levels. But I am talking about a way in which we're out of balance. One of the things that makes this problem hard to solve is that when you ask parents, how do other parents in the community rank achievement, caring, and happiness? You can probably guess what they say. A large majority of parents think that a large majority of other parents would rank achievement over caring. So they think that about 70 or 75% of parents in their community would rank achievement over caring. So the situation we have is that a large majority of parents think the problem is a large majority of other parents. That the problem is not me or the problem is not us. I think there are a few different causes of this. I mean, one is that through most of our history, it was mothers' responsibility to raise children who were caring, responsible, in America, raise children who were caring, responsible citizens. It should have been fathers too. That is no longer true. It's particularly not true in middle and upper class communities. And there are big race class culture differences in this that I probably won't have time to talk about, but happy to talk about offline. Schools in this country were founded to develop children who would be good citizens, and that was true throughout much of their history. That is no longer true. Both public schools and private schools. Universities like mine throughout most of their history stood for ethical values and were about promoting ethical character. When I ask Harvard students, we did a big survey of Harvard students, what values does Harvard stand for now? And when we talk to people outside the Harvard community, what values does Harvard stand for? I hear about excellence, I hear about success, I hear about elitism, sometimes I hear about truth, but very hard to find an ethical value. Our colleges and universities are no longer standing for ethical values. I am not saying anything for or against religion. I mean, religion is complicated in lots of ways, but it can be a very important context for moral development. It is a community of adults who stand for ethical values often, who are engaging kids in ethical questions. There are rituals in communities like confirmations and bar mitzvahs that are asking kids to think about their responsibilities and obligations to their communities, to their country, to the world. Many religions fuse a moral life and a spiritual life. You're asked to consider your obligations to your ancestors and your obligations to your descendants. And I'm not saying we should become more or less religious. I am saying that we should think about some of these functions of religious communities. I mean, how do we in secular life create communities of adults who are asking kids ethical questions? How do we recreate these rituals of gratitude and these coming of age ceremonies? How do we begin to fuse a moral life and a spiritual life for young people? I'm probably about to run out of time. So
You have 1 minute.
Yeah,
Yes.
so let me just say a couple things quickly about what we are trying to do about this. We do a lot of work with the media, with children's television shows, with ABC, with a number of major media stations, where we are trying to bring this to people, to parents' attention, to schools' attention. And everybody, I talk to is concerned about it. I mean, this has not been a hard sell in many ways. And actually trying to get parents and schools to reprioritize concern for others, concern for the common good. We make some headway, we don't make headway. And encouraging days, discouraging days. The other thing we are doing is that college admissions, the college admissions process is one of the few rites of passage that we have in this country. It's one of the few times in which adolescents are thinking about what they value and talking to adults, older adults, about what's valued in the adult world. We came out with a report called Turning the Tide about a year ago in which got a lot of media attention, and it was about colleges sending very different signals to kids. One is that all the Ivy League schools signed it, and that's one of the reasons, endorsed it, and that's one of the reasons it got a lot of attention. It now has almost 200 endorsers. I am going to wind up in just a second. But it was an effort for colleges to send very different signals. And one signal is, we really value ethical engagement. It's not about long brag sheets. It's not about the quantity of your achievements. It is about the quality of your intellectual engagement, and it's about the kind of person you are day to day, and whether you are a decent, ethical citizen day to day. Let me stop.